There was this time, about 1.5 to 2 years ago, when I was in the middle of Lake Victoria on an island. Lake Victoria is the world's second largest freshwater lake and is collectively owned or claimed by 3 different countries: Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. I was in Uganda as part of it, which is where I was living at the time. If you've talked to me or you know me at all, you know that I've spent the vast majority of my life growing up in Uganda, East Africa. Anyways, I'm with some friends. We're about 5 miles offshore with all that we need for the next 2 days. We have clothes, food, firewood, water, tents. We have our boats. I brought some sunscreen because I was the only white guy, but I wouldn't use it and I'll regret that later on. Night 1, it's like 4 a.m. and it starts to rain, like pouring rain, buckets upon buckets of rain. And if you've never been in a tropical rainstorm, then you really haven't seen rain. Colorado rain is great, but it's nothing compared to tropical rainstorms. Now, within 15 minutes, our tents are flooded because our tents weren't that good to begin with, and now they're about 10 years old. So they're flooded within 15 minutes. Our bags are wet, we're completely soaked, we have puddles on the floor. Now it's 4 a.m., too early to be up and about, especially because it's pitch black outside, and simply too close to daybreak to try to go back to sleep in the puddles. So all 8 of us in our 5-man tent crouch down in an effort for the next 2 hours to try to keep our bags somewhat dry. By the time the sun peaks over the horizon, I'm already at the end of my rope, and the day has barely begun. As we light the fire to cook breakfast, our leader crawls out of his much fancier, much more expensive tent, bone dry and looking thoroughly well slept. And I sit there, soaking wet, miserable, hungry, irritated, and cold. I start compiling a list of things I think I'll need for the next time I do one of these camping trips. The list gets longer and longer, and it starts including things I would never use, like a solar-powered radio. And though I didn't know it at this time, this experience would influence my view on camping and the world in ways I couldn't imagine. At that point, I was already considering outdoor leadership, or OL, as a career choice for when I got to college. But I hadn't had anything solidified yet. 1 year later, however, when I started my senior year here at Front Range, I was sure that I was going into OL when I reached college. But when it came time to choose our capstones, I didn't choose OL. I chose music in this meeting, which obviously didn't last very long, considering that I changed halfway through. So 9 months ago, it was time to choose our capstone topics, and I decided I'd rather not do outdoor leadership the whole year, mainly because of this idea I like to try everything. I want to be able to do everything in life. I decided if I'm going to do 4 years of outdoor leadership in college, then I should use this chance I have in high school to do something else, or explore something I can't learn in college necessarily. I've always loved music, and it's impacted me greatly, both mentally and emotionally. So I decided to pursue music and meaning for Capstone. Music and its impact on us as a main focus, and also possibly how it strayed away from its original purpose. However, I had problems from the start. I had to change my thesis multiple times as I talked to people and saw new angles on my idea. By the end of the first semester, I decided that even though I love music, I didn't and couldn't love it in the capacity that I was chasing it. I was trying to look at every song and dissect it and pick it apart for the lyrics which I was listening to, and it was ruining music for me. Of course, it isn't bad to try to understand the music you listen to, but when it turns into looking too closely and not being able to enjoy and listen to sounds coming out of your speaker, that's when it's just too much. I didn't like how I was approaching music, so I was like, I need a change. But change to what? My mind was drawn to outdoor leadership right away. However, I decided to give it some more thought. And after a bit of thought, I decided, yeah, I'll finish up my capstone year with outdoor leadership. But I knew why I didn't want to do music, but why did I want to do outdoor leadership? The more I thought about it, I think I realized being outdoors is a natural part of life for me. Having grown up in the bush of East Africa, I've always been outside, running along the paths, climbing trees, looking for snacks in the forest. Even if we weren't running around or looking for snacks, we were simply sitting around outside talking, but it was always outside. I can trace all my best memories, and even my crazy stories, back to being outside. Truth is, I love being outside all the time, and if you know me, you also know that I'm a serious extrovert. I love people a whole ton. I'm always trying to be around people. Outdoor leadership combines both of those things for me, people and the outdoors. If I'm working in outdoor leadership, I can relate with people, meet new people, and go exploring for a job. If you're telling me I can get paid to take people on hikes through the woods or on overnight camping trips out to the islands, then I'm down. Outdoor leadership is a very vast field, including search and rescue, camp leadership, ski patrol, park ranger duty, forestry, and wildlife protection. It's a boundless area of study that equips people to lead and teach others in the outdoors efficiently and effectively. Outdoor leadership skills can include wilderness medicine, herbal remedies, certifications for activities such as rock climbing, off-road biking, kayaking, whitewater rafting. There's even a type that includes skydiving. Aside from the adventurous skills, you learn how to teach people new skills, challenge their mindset, their worldview, how they approach life, and how they view others. Team building courses that you'll find in the woods or sometimes in the city are very often led by outdoor leadership graduates or people who have done something similar. It's also been called outdoor education and can be directed toward a more administrative side towards leading a camp. If you go to Idrahaji or Telefiba, both of which are camps in the mountains of Colorado, most of the people you find there will be outdoor leadership majors who have graduated and are using their skills to improve others' lives and make their days better. People have taken it upon themselves to learn as much as they can about how best to lead people outdoors and give them the best experience while under their care. Something about outdoors influences our mindset, our being people. Our mindset and challenges us to do new things. People have realized this and have taken it personally to offer this chance to all. Generally, if you think about it, camps have always been in the summertime because it's the best time to be outside. Summer camp, robotics camp, adventure camps, whatever camp you've been to are always outside, and they always have the same idea. Have people leave different than when they arrived. Some camps target your intellectual side, such as robotics camp. Others target your emotional side, such as retreats for married couples or people who have a lot of stress in their lives. Others target your spiritual side, such as VBS. The way each camp approaches how to change you varies, but they all have the same idea. They want you to leave different than when you came. Bible camp may use nature and God's creation to give you a new appreciation for God and His marvelous power. Robotics camp will use a new and foreign environment to stimulate your mental process. Retreats for married couples and stressed out individuals will offer services like canoes, hikes, or sometimes therapy sessions. But why is it always outside? Couldn't you do robotics in a big room with lots of lights and tables? Couldn't you learn about God in church or Sunday school? Or couldn't you de-stress in front of the TV, eating your favorite food and binge watching a show? Yeah, you could. However, there's something about being outside that affects people's minds and chemical reactions in our brains like nothing else does. In a study by the Time magazine, it was shown that being outside for as little as 30 minutes a day lowers blood pressure, stress, and heart rate. It improves your mental health as well. It was shown that those who spend more time outside are less likely to develop a psychiatric disorder. It also showed that your happiness levels, chemicals called dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, will increase from being outside. You don't even have to be running or doing any physical exercise to improve your mental well-being. You simply just have to be outside. In 2010, the U.S. Bureau of Health Statistics and the U.S. Justice Department statistics groups found that 44% of inmates in jail suffered a mental health problem, and more than 1,000 homicides are committed annually by people who have untreated or severe mental health issues. Japan has taken on an interesting way to combat this. They've started a practice called forest bathing. Forest bathing is basically where you just simply take a bath in a forest setting. Now, it's not physical exercise, but studies show that tremendous health benefits, such as lower stress levels, can come from simply taking a bath in the forest. Being outside can change how you feel for the better. It's been observed by countless people over the years that as humans are in open, natural atmospheres, they are more willing to listen to new ideas, open up for change, and test their comfort zones. These things combined with scientifically proven health benefits of being outside creates a perfect environment for teaching, leading, helping, counseling, and rest. And this is where the camping field is pointed, towards helping others by exposing them to the outdoors, by letting them learn new things. On top of that, as I said before, it's a known fact that physical exercise is good for your mental health. Imagine combining your physical exercise, being outside, which is good for your mental health, and the ability to learn new things all at once. Wouldn't it be amazing? But this is exactly what camping is doing, specifically Christian camping and retreat centers. When guests come to a Christian camp or retreat center, we would plan their week for them, offer them services like hiking, canoeing, challenge courses, new teachings to expand their worldview and how they view others, or challenge the way they think. And sometimes you find people who have never left the city. This is their first time in nature. And this is a great opportunity to teach them about God and open their eyes to nature so they can see God in a new light. It's one of the main reasons I want to do outdoor leadership. Wherever I go, I want to know the impact I'm leaving behind, and I always hope it's good. One way to leave good impressions and legacies behind is to always be there to help others when they need it. Outdoor leadership is preparing me to influence others for the better and teaching them new things. Truly, I do love people. I love the relationships that come out of talking with people. I love everything to do with people. You never know what you're going to get from the relationships you build, just from the smallest things. Sometimes you share a snack, or you drop behind the group and talk to them, or you should have a 5-minute conversation. You never know what you're going to get out of those relationships. And no matter who I talk to or what I do, I'm happiest helping people grow and achieve their goals. Because outdoor leadership really is about helping others grow and achieve their goals. Whether it's staying late at the campfire, walking slower on the day hike, making an extra effort to have a conversation, it's always worth it. This is, again, one of the reasons I love outdoor leadership. It involves helping people, building new relationships, challenging people to grow, and always being outside is an extra bonus. Plus, being outside in an environment of natural beauty. In an interview I had with Dr. Greg Robinson, who is my future professor at John Brown University, he asked me if I was sure that I didn't want to become a psychiatrist or a therapist. And I said, I'm 100% sure. Basically because generally those people work inside. And like I said before, I want to be outside. I also don't want to just hand the answers to people. I want to help guide them along their path towards finding the answers for themselves. Like I said, I love being outdoors, and even if I'm only leading hikes and I'm not actually really involved in the people's lives that I'm leading, I'm still outside seeing new stuff. I've learned to always keep my eyes open on hikes, especially because I can learn new things, like maybe I'll find a new teaching example, or I'll find a new route I can take for the next group. I'm always learning. Whether from nature or from the people you're leading, there's always a lesson to be learned, and that's what's great about outdoor leadership. I can't wait to lead people on hikes and take them to the challenge course, all the while making new relationships with them as they grow and adjust to new mindsets or worldviews or thoughts that they're developing. Truth is, to be in charge of people's journey that might change their mindset, their worldview, how they view others or how they view themselves is a huge task. I constantly find myself reading off lists of equipment in my head that I think I'll need to make this experience worthwhile for them. But remember that island trip at the beginning when I thought you needed a whole ton? The truth is, you really don't. I've come to realize that. That trip was one of the best trips I've ever taken, and I didn't have barely anything. I wouldn't change anything about that trip, except for the big sunburn I got. That was brutal. The point is, you don't need a lot to make a camping experience worthwhile. There was this book I read this year called The Wilderness Idiot by Ted Alvarez, and he often takes camping trips with nothing but the clothes on his back. And he said that those are the trips that are the most memorable and most impactful on his life. Glamping, you don't have to go glamping to have a good time. The truth is, a good trip is not what happens or how you feel on the trip. It's the memories, the experiences, the views, and the thoughts you gain from that trip. For many people, simply camping in a cabin with cold showers is too much. I want to show them the other side of the challenging camping experience, which is great memories, a host of valuable information you can learn to take back to your everyday life. I not only want to help those who are used to camping and love it, but I also want to help these people who have never gone camping in their lives. I want to show them that camping is a fun experience that they can do themselves as well. I plan to obtain a bachelor's in outdoor leadership from John Brown University starting this fall. John Brown's in Siloam Springs, Arkansas. After I graduate in 2024, I hope to move back to Uganda to work at the camp that I first picked up the interest in outdoor leadership at. It's called Musana Camps, and it's on the edge of Lake Victoria, which is where I had that camping trip earlier. I can't wait to work with my friends that I know there in an environment that I'm used to, and where I can grow and help others grow. If my dreams are at all attainable, there's a plan of someday moving down to the south of Uganda to a town called Jinja, where I want to start a base camp for explorers, tourists, vacation seekers, and campers alike. The Jinja is the home of the source of the Nile, and I want to build a base camp on the Nile with a few special touches of my own. If anyone has any questions about outdoor leadership or anything surrounding outdoor leadership, I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you very much.